Hi everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name's Nehal and I'm a cancer survivor. I wanted to put together some videos on my experiences and hopefully give you some insight onto how to kind of get through it. I'm on the other side. I'm a year post my diagnosis and almost 6 months past chemo. So I'm kind of ready to talk about it. So I thought best way to do it is obviously share my experiences. So I was diagnosed February 2019. So I had a little blip in June and I was working full time. I'm a teacher. I was working full time, busy mom, crazy mom. Had a few, there was like loads of outbreaks of viruses and so forth within the school. So what happened was in June, I picked up a virus. I was going through IVF as well. I am a mom of one and I was trying for my second. I was going through IVF. And anyways, long story short, I had an IVF treatment 2 weeks previous and they collected a lot of eggs. So I was feeling really awful after that anyways, because it was like 19. So I had a little blip. I had like a real sharp pain in my side. I still remember it was last period on a Friday, and my head of department had to ask me a question. She came knocking. She could just see the pain in my face, and I was just trying to push through to get through the end of the lesson because I knew, I could just rush home. So she was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." So, ran home, picked up my daughter. It was like a pain, like to the fact that I had to take a paracetamol with codeine. I was holding my side, all this stuff. Anyways, fast forward, pain got worse. And on Sunday, I couldn't even roll over. My husband's in the medical field. We rushed because he was like, "This is not right. You probably have like an appendicitis or something like that." Rushed, got some scans done, and it came back that it looked like I had a liver lesion. So that scared everyone, let's be honest. When you get something on your liver and it looks like, a growth of some sort, it just freaks everyone out. So everyone thought, obviously, I had liver cancer, all this stuff, and I just went through crazy amount of scans. I went to go see my IVF doctor. We got investigated, and it came back. It was just like an FNH, which is just like a hormonal kind of little blip in your liver. And I was flying out actually to go see my dad, who was got diagnosed with prostate cancer, and I was taking a good couple of weeks off work and going to visit my dad. So I just wanted to go see him. And when they cleared me and everything was fine, I was like, great. They said, just scan back in 6 months. It just looks like you've got a little bit of fluid, but that can obviously be related to the IVF. So I was like, didn't think anything of it. So then what happened was 6 months later, fast forward, boom, boom, boom. 6 months later, I was starting work again in January, and I was like, oh God, 6 months has come up so quickly. And I was just working on myself because, we put the IVF behind, and, if anyone's going through infertility or anything like that, you gain a lot of weight. And I just wanted to get healthy and all that, to put it behind me. It was my big 40 birthday, and I just did a scan. I just thought, oh, I was feeling great, had like no symptoms whatsoever. My gut calmed down, I was on probiotics, all that kind of stuff. I felt great. And then the scan came back, and dun dun dun, had my tumor markers doubled and my peritoneum cavity was thickened. And so now they weren't concerned about the liver side of things. Well, there was a bit of scalloping on the liver, but they were concerned of the peritoneum cavity, which the best way to describe the peritoneum cavity, for those that don't know, it's basically like cling film over your organs, kind of keeps all your organs kind of neat and inside you and all that. So when you put cling film or whatever you want to call it over a bowl, and it kind of keeps everything together. Well, that's what the peritoneum cavity is. So what happened was that thickened. And so that was a telltale sign of something's going on. So they said biopsy. I was literally starting school. I love being a teacher. It's been my identity for so long. I really geared up for the start of the school year, as you do as a teacher and all that. I'm in Australia, so it starts in January. So I was ready to go in, and I did go in, and obviously had to do a biopsy because the results came back pretty bad. I kind of was dealing with that at the start of the school year. So anyways, biopsy came back that I had PMP cancer. And now I kind of had a feeling after this scan that, you know, something wasn't right. Now, I have amazing family. I can't even tell you. My sister literally flew in because I said, literally, I can't do this on my own. She's like my rock. You know, we do everything together. You know, she lives in Canada though, which is unfortunate, but great for her. And she flew over to help me with the biopsy because I have a young daughter at that age. She was 3.5. So I needed some type of stability because I've never really kind of left her. Like I said, it was an IVF. She was like my life. And I needed family support. And we don't really have family here. I've got friends that are my family, but we don't really have family. And my sister would, you know, she came and she was our rock. And I had to really kind of rely on her and rely on other people just to help me out, especially with my daughter. Anyways, I knew when I saw my husband and my sister's face after the biopsy. They didn't tell me, but I could just tell. And later did I know that they went home, cracked open a bottle of beer or wine or whatever they did, and just cried because they knew that the journey ahead, like my husband is in the medical field. He's surgical based, and oddly enough, you know, all these little things like fate and all that kind of stuff really kind of plays on your mind, especially when you get that diagnosis, you know, and you look back and go, wow, like of all the people in the world, we ended up together. And I'll talk about our journey of getting together later in a later time, but we got together and his best friend actually trained underneath the top surgeon in this field in the UK. And you know, we called him and was like, what is this? It's such a rare cancer. PMP is pseudomyxoma. The peritoneum cavity cancer is like very rare. It can stem from a few places, your appendix, or just residual stuff. So now, like, rewind now, kind of jumping a little bit, but rewind 10 years, I had a teratoma, which is just like a cyst in my back, in my sacrum area, like my tail, it's like a tailgut cyst. And it was huge. It was like 15 by 11. And that was really rare. So that was like 10 years ago. And then all of a sudden this happens. And it's like, what? You know, like, how is this possible? So, you know, you go through all these emotions and you go through all you're kind of actually just in shock. And I know everyone, you know, if you're watching this, you either have a family member or you are in it. And you can kind of go back to that feeling of just being numb and just like this new title is put on you, you know, like you're a daughter first, and then you're a high school graduate, and then you're this, and then you're that, and then you become what you wanted to become, I guess, in your profession. And then all of a sudden you become a mom, and that title takes over your world, as if you are a mom or not a mom or whatever, or an auntie. You know, those titles come over, and then all of a sudden you got this label stuck on you now for life that you're a cancer person. Oh, anyways, so the fear, you know, the fear of knowing that is just horrendous, and it just took over me. And the type of person I am, I'm a crazy optimistic person. So, you know, my accent's really weird. I'm Canadian, born and raised. And then I moved to the UK, and I was in the UK for like 11 years. And then we moved to the UK. So I kind of go in and out of all my accents. So it sounds really weird. But I'm a survivor, you know, like I'm someone that, like, no matter what, I'm a hopeless optimistic person. You know, I'm like everyone's cheerleader. I just, you know, feel everything's going to be okay. Now, I was very naive to this cancer. And then I started Googling and researching it to death. And obviously the rates and this and that, And I can play the probability game. I'm a math teacher forever. But this type of cancer is pretty grim. And the biopsy came back pretty crap. So, you know, I had pretty much medium to high levels and whatever. The worst part of it all, obviously my dad just finished his treatment and his recovery, was telling my parents, you know, like, we are a very tight family. I've got a very massive extended family. I mean, being Indian background, I've got like 52 cousins, but we're very close. I know that sounds crazy, like we're all around the world, but we're close. And to tell my parents, I mean, it still gets to me that that I have this, and to inflict the pain of it, because them to see me, that knowing that what I'm gonna have to go through, I downplayed it, to be honest, as we all do. Cancer people, we downplay things just because we, you know, that it's this inside cancer guilt that you just don't want to put on other people. Well, at least that's how I dealt with it, and I think it was okay, because I needed to deal with it, you know, and it's something that I downplayed with my parents, and you know, and then slowly started kind of telling more and more, but initially I just downplayed it, and that's the introduction of me. And stay tuned, because I'm gonna do I'm gonna keep trying to keep these videos a little bit short, because sometimes you don't want to watch like intro videos of a person. So I thought I'd just kind of introduce myself in this video, and hopefully you got some insight a little bit on why I'm doing it and why I'm doing these vlogs, and hopefully you get something from it. So till the next one, bye.